Hello, everybody. This is episode number 10 of Where's the Money? We are focusing on paper by 53. Here it is.
You're asking me, where's the money? Where's the money? I mean, I don't know where the money is. I've never been good with figures, you know that. I don't know anything about math. It was never my good subject. I don't know where the money is.
Douglas Soltis, welcome to episode number 10, buddy.
Good morning, sir.
How are things there in Toronto? Everything's great?
Sunny and wonderful.
I'm sure. It's always sunny and wonderful. We're here to talk about this thing called paper. It's taken the world by storm. A little bit of background. This is the team that created the Microsoft Courier. It was supposed to be the two-paned tablet from Microsoft. They scrapped that. These guys went out with another group. They created this thing called paper. The company is 53. It's been downloaded over 1.5 million times in the first 10 days of downloads. This is supposed to usher in a new revolutionary way of creation and art when it comes to these tablets. Available on iPad. Doug, what are we here to discuss?
It's a post-PC application for a post-PC world, and they're approaching it with a post-PC business model. So let's see if that's going to work.
A post-PC world. That's what everybody's talking about here when it comes to these kinds of apps. And I've got a little video here that I want to show that really we're going to take a look and see if it actually is this. So I'm just going to go fast forward a little bit to midway through it. We're going to watch a little bit about what paper is, and then we're going to come back and decipher their revenue model. At least try to figure this out. So here, just about a minute of the video from 53's website about paper. Here we go. That's 53. That's paper. Doug, how are we ushering in this new era of the post-PC world with this product? Let's talk about that.
Well, it's people who are watching this on the video will obviously see just how beautiful of an app it was, and for the audio folks at home, it's a lot of lovely drawings and a really cool, beautiful application that just it's everything that the '90s and the early 2000s weren't in terms of. It's just asking you to play with it. It's extremely beautiful. It's very simple. It's almost austere, but in a really kind of open way. And it's the idea that the tablets and these mobile devices can actually switch now. They're powerful enough now to move from being just content reception devices to content creation. And this is the kind of the new era of content creation applications. In a totally different way. It's so beautiful to just mess around.
You know, it's funny because I think the knock against iPad 1 was that this is a content consumption device. iPad 2 is a transition device. iPad 3 really becomes, with GarageBand and a bunch of the other things that are coming out, a content creation device. And companies like 53 and their paper are the ones that are really pushing how people are using these devices. And the Retina screen, I think, was the catalyst for something like this. Obviously, people are waiting for this. Because the art that you've seen that people are creating from this, unbelievable. Business model is always an interesting one because you talked about the 80s software and 90s software, which was desktop-based, which was everybody accepted that we buy a piece of software for a couple $100. We use 3% of its capabilities. I'm talking about Word and Excel and all of these productivity apps. And it's the same way that we buy our cable channels today, and the same way that we get our radio stations today is that we pay for, 1,000 channels, but we may only watch 10 of them, but we can't buy them individually. And this is changing that model, turning it on its head, and saying, listen, we're giving away this application for free, and we're going to allow you to enhance your experience by what? Purchasing a few things, buying some stuff. Mm-hmm. Is this a viable model? Are we seeing this? Is this really the beginning of mobile first when it comes to software development and turning it into revenue?
Yes, because it matches the demographics of a new generation of PC consumers breaking away from the enterprise. It's really interesting that you say, everyone buys one piece of software where they use 3% of the features, but not everyone was using the same 3%. Every business had that specific feature that they needed for their core business, right? So that software had to have a bajillion features in it to make sure that it was complete, which is why over time, like you just look at the core Microsoft suite of products. They're just exceptionally bloated, but everyone uses them because everyone uses them, and they know that they're the features that they need are going to be in there. For a medium and a demographic that's entirely built upon consumer first or prosumer or complete disruption in terms of usability, function, mobility, as compared to the entrenched enterprise, desktop, Excel, even Photoshop kind of space. This is like a thinner client for those people. They're trying to provide exactly what you need, or what everyone at a base level will enjoy, and then for those that need more, giving specific kind of modules of features, whether it's additional brushes or tool sets or things like that. So if you are like a Photoshop artist or a visual artist and you're doing like concept work and things like that, you're not conscribed to what they provide you, but you can actually kind of like pick and choose the things that you want, which hopefully I would think make the application over time much cheaper, and is also a great lead-in for people to try new features and learn new things, because God knows I can do anything in Word other than type words in it and use spell check, because I have no idea. Like, there's just 1,000 features. Like, I don't know what's going on there. Photoshop, you have to take specific tutorials. With paper, if you screw up, you just roll back the screen to go backwards. You're selecting different brushstrokes. So I think it's actually it's an application for everyone, which means the business model of allowing people to pick and choose what they need, I think it would be highly effective.
I'm with you on this. Is that I've interviewed a couple of times one of my mobile heroes. His name is Guy Wang. He runs a company called Sonic Mule, and they do the IMT Paint app, they do the Glee app, they do the Flute app, and they've got a violin app that transforms these instruments, the iOS instruments, into something of an artistic creation. Whether or not you call it an instrument or not is regardless. What is irrelevant. What he talks about is allowing everybody has a song in them, and this allows them to get it out. It democratized music making. And I think that something like this, I've read so many reviews about paper that say, listen, I'm not an artist, but I sat down with this, and it was an intuitive environment to be able to create. And my art is terrible, but at least I'm creating. And I think that that's one of the things that this brings out. And the business model is an interesting piece, very, very, very interesting. Simply because you start with the base price, which is the freemium model that we see everywhere, but then you start to enhance it with the way that you want to personalize, as you've said before. But the real question is, can a company spend this much effort, time, money, maybe even investment at some point, and turn this into a viable business? With the numbers that they've got, 1.5 million plus, maybe almost close to 2 million downloads, can they turn those guys in at $8 or $2 at a time into a viable income source? And at what point does it become an annoyance that when I want to buy a brush, it's $2. When I want to buy a separate color, it's $2. And that's not how they're doing it, but maybe they will. They'll do color packs. If I want to buy a new type of stationery, it's $2. How much of this is what's our threshold before all of a sudden we say, forget it, I'm out, I'm going back to paper and pen?
Well, the closest thing that we have this model is what's happening in the gaming space, the social gaming space, right? With free-to-play, freemium games. But those games are designed to push you towards paying for additional features or cows or vegetables or whatever people on Facebook are doing to kind of accelerate your growth and things like that. So there's a very obvious I know what this thing does, and I can pay money to get more of it, or I can get a more badass version. Because paper is actually a creation application, I don't think that immediate incentive is there to be like, oh, I can get like 4x my brushstroke if I just buy this. So I think the amount of people that they'll probably be looking to upsell will be less or will not be as easy. And I think they're going to have to be very careful with, as you said, how they package things. Because, just actually a great example is Draw Something, which I don't use the paid version. I use the ad-supported free version. And they are, like, the amount of things that they provide you are so minimum. Like you get 4 colors, and, like, they want you to spend like $5 or like 150 coins or something like that just to get a few extra colors. And I would never pay for, like, I don't need blue that much to get it. But if paper is providing specific tools, specific new ways for me to, like, those people who are like, I'm not an artist, but, like, I'm really getting a sense of satisfaction and being more creative in using this system. I think there's room for that there. But even if they only sell those packages to, like, a prosumer market, all those espresso drinking wannabe Photoshop artists who now use this as, like, a really easy way to get some concept art across, and they don't feel constrained with having their Wacom tablet with them all the time. I think that's enough, right? Isn't that enough of a market? Especially if they build out, I've been talking about Microsoft Word a lot, like a suite of applications like this across all the kind of demographics.
I think it's a start. Whether or not they can actually turn it into revenue, it is I think of those 1.5 million or 2 million people that have downloaded it, guys like me who are testing this out, guys like you who are trying to figure out what this is and how to use this. And I'm a visual note taker. I hate notes, linear notes. Evernote is a great tool, but I'm lost in it because it just doesn't work the way I want it to do. And I thought that maybe something like paper would allow me to do that. It doesn't. It is really, truly an artistic application. And so I sit with it, and it's like looking at a blank screen. So I think that of those 2 million people that have downloaded it, we're going to find a core audience of users for this thing. I don't know if they can move this into other platforms because of the Retina display and the impact. The iPad is the iPad, and I don't think that it would fit on an iPhone or a smaller screen very well at all.
Well, in the Verge interview, though, they've said that they have a version working. For, I think, the 4S.
But I can't see that working. I think that their core piece is, I hear a lot of people talking about that this is an application that people are going to use instead of carrying a book and a pen and certain watercolors, and this is going to it's not going to replace that, but it's going to enhance that so you can draw all the time. And I don't see that working in an iPhone. I might be wrong, but the beauty of it is the size of the screen, and I think even the size of the screen is constrained for a guy like me who wants to take some notes or draw mind maps and those kind of things. So, I'd be very interested in they could branch out many ways, but I'm hoping they can turn this into revenue because I think it is the future. But there is a reason that guys like Microsoft jammed all those features in and charged a high price for it, right? Because they knew that they could actually do this. People were going to use it differently. The customized software is the vision, is the dream. And I think mobile can change that, but it's going to be an uphill battle to change the way that people perceive how they use software. But I love this app. I do, and my kids love it. Everybody that touches it is amazed, and I think that's the thing that they've got going for them right now. Will you buy? Will you buy a new a pen? Will you buy the fountain pen? I haven't bought anything yet. I'm not convinced that I will. Maybe I'm just not the market.
I think I would, just simply because the immediate frustrations that you just have with just running your finger along a screen with no actual sensitivity. So if something's going to give me pressure sensitivity, I would use it way more. And just the idea that they talk, and, like, I keep mentioning the Verge video, great interview that they did, how the pad of your finger actually gets in the way of you knowing what you're doing, right? So I think the experience is much improved with a stylus, which Steve Jobs is rolling over in his grave right now. But it's the type of thing, like, Microsoft is porting their suite of applications to the iPad because they have to. I don't think this is an application, they're not going to get bought by Facebook for $1 billion. But this is the type of thing where they can be successful by being the tools that people use instead of using Microsoft tools because they have to, right? Like, this won't work for everybody, but for the type of people who are always using, Adobe or Microsoft tools because that's what there was, this is for them. And it's also for just a generation of people who just want to play around. You don't play around with PC era products, right? They were, like, you're talking about even Evernote, an application that I love, but it's very specific towards tasks. This is way more explorative, which is wonderful.
I think that's the power of the tablet. And I think that that's the power of mobile, is that it allows us to hit a refresh, restart. It's like, you know, a volcano erupts, destroys all the brush, and what comes up is an even greener brush. And I think that that's what we're starting to see right now with these applications. The opportunity to reinvent is here, and it's in mobile. We'd love to know what you think out there. Does this thing stand a chance? Is this the dawn of a new software era, where we've always wanted it? And will it transcend software into cable and the way that we watch TV? But really, right now, is software being developed the appropriate way, or is something like paper and the way that they've modeled after, and the niche, the smaller niche that they're going after, is this the future of the way that software is being built? And how influential is mobile going to be on this? Really, are we in that first stage of mobile-first software development? And I hope so, man. I hope so. Simplicity is cool. What do you think?
Well, your kids love it, man. Your kids love it.
Well, and they're the ones that are going to be using these things going forward. You know, I'm an old fart. So, dinosaurs. So what do you think? We'd love to hear from you. Question of the day, question of the week. Come on. Are you going to buy these brushes? Or would you, what's the application? Here's one. What's the application that you would love to see re-engineered with this model? Bring it. Douglas? Thanks, buddy.
Good final question.
Good final question. Just made it up right now. Down below. Love to hear it. Love to hear it. Thank you guys all for watching. Go download Paper. If you haven't yet, to take a look at it, enjoy it. This has been episode number 10 of Where's the Money. We'll see you next time.
Bye, Mr. Woodbridge.